All right, so throughout the years of me being a basketball fan, I have always gone, back and forth, this way and that way, on this whole tanking thing. You know what I'm saying? This tanking thing is a pulverizing topic, and particularly right now in the Pistons fan base, it's a pulverizing subject because half of the fan base believes we should tank, we should trade Blake, we should trade Rose, everybody, we should get them up out of there. And then the other half of the fan base believes we need to try to push for the playoffs. We need to try to compete. We need to try to make an AFC. Our fan base is divided here and there right now. And I'm going to give you all what I believe we should do right now, and especially with the roster that we have. And I'm going to give you all examples of tanking throughout the history, our recent history of basketball. So I personally believe that we should be doing a competitive tank. And what I mean by that is we should try to keep the veterans, don't trade them all away, but try to lose at the same time, if you know what I mean. Try to get anywhere around 30 wins, okay? And I'm about to give you all the reasons why. Now, when I first started thinking about tanking, the first team that came to mind was the Philadelphia 76ers a couple of years ago. And we all remember the season. Now, I'm about to tell y'all the records from the Sixers tanking and the players that they got in the draft for that. So, the Sixers, in 2013, when the Sixers first started tanking, they were 19-63, and they got Nerlens Noel and Michael Carter-Williams. So Nerlens Noel no longer with the roster. Michael Carter-Williams no longer with the roster. Now, Michael Carter-Williams was Rookie of the Year, if we remember that. And Nerlens Noel, right now, Nerlens Noel is just a good, a solid starter, nothing much. So that's what happened after their first year of tanking. In 2014, they were 18-64. They drafted Joel Embiid, they got Elfrid Payton, and they got Serge in that draft. And Embiid ended up getting hurt, obviously. Payton hasn't panned out. We all thought he was going to be a great facilitator as a point guard. Never panned out, really. And Dario Saric is a journeyman. He's been hopping around from team to team, and he's just a decent bench player. So that's what they got in 2014. 2015, they were 10-72. This is the worst that they were doing this entire rebuild, and they ended up getting Jahlil Okafor. And we all know the league changed right after Jahlil Okafor got drafted. It became a three-point shooting league, and then Jahlil Okafor was no longer valued, so they ended up getting rid of him. 2016, they were 28-54, and they ended up getting Ben Simmons, Furkan Korkmaz, and Timothy Cameron. Now, Ben Simmons, obviously, we know what he is. He's him and Embiid are their franchise players right now. Furkan Korkmaz still on the roster, decent role player, and Timothy Cameron, bench player for them. And then in 2017, this was basically the end of the rebuild when Embiid was healthy, Simmons was healthy, and everything came together. They were 52-30, and they ended up getting Markelle Fultz. So and then we obviously know where the Sixers are right now. So from the Sixers, the most recent example of tanking, the Sixers, it has not worked yet. They've become a successful team. They become a playoff team, but they haven't gotten a championship yet. They haven't been in the finals at all yet. So tanking for them, it's been decent so far. And another team that I'm not going to go completely into detail on, another team where tanking didn't work was the Charlotte Hornets. If you remember the kid Gilchrist, Batum, Bismack Biyombo, that bad contract, Kemba Walker, that tanking situation did not work. So we have two situations right now where a team tanked, and the Sixers, they became a contender in terms of conference finals, but not NBA finals. And then we have a team like the Hornets who tanked and have never become solid at anything. Now, let me give you all the example of what I believe the Pistons should do right now. The Pistons, I believe, should do the competitive tank. And what that is again, around 30 wins, try to win, try to lose some games, but the most important thing is develop the young guys and let them play with the veterans. So the Raptors, what they did with their competitive tank was they got Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, Norman Powell, and Fred VanVleet throughout their entire competitive tank. And since the year 2012, they have never been below 34 wins. So that's what I mean by the competitive tank. If the Pistons are around 34 wins every other year and we still getting players in the draft and we're still in the lottery, we're getting decent players here and there, building up our roster, that's what I believe the Pistons should do right now. We need to do a competitive tank. We need to get around 34 wins and draft right. We got Troy Weaver, and everybody in the Pistons comment section, we all say this, and Weaver, we trust. We got to trust Troy Weaver to get the job done. He just picked up Killian Hayes in the draft. He got Sadiq Bey. He got Isaiah Stewart. We got to trust him. And I'm doing some research on the point guard we got in the second round right now. And from the research I'm doing right now, he's looking like a solid player in the second round as well. So in Weaver, we trust. He picked up Musa. We just got to trust Weaver right now. We got to hope that when we're doing this competitive tank with Dwayne Casey being the coach and Weaver being the general manager, we just got to trust this, man. And if it doesn't work, then, hey, we can end up firing them in the end. But I'm going to give Weaver a shot. We need to do this competitive tank. I don't believe in tanking completely anymore. And I don't believe that we need to just try to make the playoffs at all costs. We need to do a competitive tank.